Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Living Your Best Life. It is I, your host, Coach Adam here. I'm going to say right off the bat, I'm sorry for being late. I know I'm a couple days late in publishing this. Please forgive me. I try to get it out to you every Monday. If you don't know already, Audrey and I have been moving for the past 5 days now. It's taken a lot more time than we thought. It's taken a little bit of its toll. But the cool thing is, it kind of did present me with an opportunity to turn my reality into a little bit of content for you guys. Um, and I honestly, I really wanted to have an episode recorded and ready to publish. I wanted to do it last week. I wanted to have it ready by Sunday and then just hit publish on Monday morning, right? But I didn't plan very well. I dropped the ball, so I'm sorry. But again, like I said, it kind of presented me with this quick little opportunity, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. Um, so I want to talk about, like, I don't want to say huge life events, but moving is a life event, and it's extremely stressful and anxiety inducing. And I had no idea um, that I would feel as much anxiety as I did. I knew it would be a like hectic, but man, guess I'm human, right? So I'll start from the beginning. Like, we got a lot of things taken care of with movers. We only had to worry about smaller items, our personal belongings, dishes, clothing, things like that. Um, and if there's anything maybe I would do differently as far as like preparation, is just pack up a lot more than we thought we needed to, and maybe like go through a lot of the stuff we have and see what really needs to be kept, what we can get rid of, what can go into storage, and what can go into the house. So, leading up to the move, maybe a little bit more in depth, like spring cleaning, I guess. Like, I think if we would have gone through more of the garage and like the drawers and the desks in the office, it probably would have cleared out things a lot quicker, and we wouldn't have had to make so many trips with extra boxes, maybe. And don't get me wrong, like, Audrey organized and packed, labeled, boxed, categorized, cataloged everything the whole time. So without that, like, oof, that would have been like way worse. But she helped so much, um, that you know it made things way easier. And luckily, we had an extra week to move things out, clear out the house, and things like that. But by the end of the day, like, it just all adds up, right? Like, you load up the cars, you drive down 25, 30 minutes, you unload the cars at the new spot, and by the time you're done with that, you're just too tired to drive back. I mean, I was. I didn't want to make another run and load up the car again and unload again. It makes it so exhausting. So it's like, let's just save it for the next day. So even though we had, I'd say, 60 to 70% of the house packed up and ready to go, that 30-40% took so much time because it's just so tedious, and it's just so much back and forth. And then on top of that, if you're here in Southern California, like, it just decided to downpour on us on Monday, like in the middle of us trying to do all this stuff, so it just delayed us even longer. So, like, all that to say is that it's just been a very very stressful experience, and anxiety inducing, right? Because on top of all that, life doesn't seem to care what we're doing, right? We still have our bills, we still have work going on, our obligations to our friends and our family, like just being there for people, like those things still exist, and it can become very overwhelming. So as much as we would like for things to be put on hold while we take care of business, it just doesn't happen that way. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, is about planning, for moments like that, and planning for, specifically a move, and dealing with the stress and the anxiety of it, because at the end of the day, like, we're the ones who make things easier for ourselves when it comes to these things. So if we really plan ahead and also set the right expectations for ourselves, it it can really minimize that stress and that anxiety. right? And the most important thing I want to like talk about with this is just we can't feel guilty about handling our personal life and our personal business before anyone else's business, right? Your life has to be in order for before you can help others. Okay, so as much as this was stressful and as bad as I felt for not being at work, for not publishing in time an episode, right? And putting things on hold, I can't feel guilty about it, right? This was something that needed to be done, and I just needed to plan better, right? So when when you're moving to a new home, first thing I'll say is budget, right? Budget for I guarantee you're gonna love it if you budget for movers. Okay, they just handle so much of the bigger things. They protect it. It doesn't damage it. You don't have to worry about it. Stress is immediately lifted off your shoulders. You know, they finished in 4.5 hours. It would have taken Audrey and myself all day, probably then into the next day to move all the appliances. And that's just more stress. It's physically exhausting. And who knows if we could have broken something, right? I'm pretty sure one of us would have. And then, budget for gas for the cars going back and forth if you have to make several trips. And don't forget, you're not going to have a refrigerator or time for grocery shopping, right? So either plan ahead by making meals or snacks or sandwiches and stuff like that, or understand that you're going to probably end up ordering takeout or going to get food somewhere. Okay? The next thing I'll say is organize. All right? Like I said, Audrey made a amazing did an amazing job of organizing everything, writing everything down in a notebook to match numbers and colors to room and where it's supposed to go, storage or house and things like that. So when that gets done, again, stress is gone, right? Because you know exactly where everything's supposed to be. You can put it in the room it's supposed to be and then worry about organizing and unloading later, right? And the other thing, like I said in the beginning, is find ways to get rid of stuff. It's a good time to declutter. It's a good time to look through old things, look through old clothing that you may not need anymore, shoes. Those are very good donation items, and even furniture that may not even fit in the new place or just has no use in the new place. Just get rid of it. All right, less stress, less clutter into the new house, less stress in the new house. All right, and then when it comes to work, this was for me the biggest source of anxiety and stress was that I did not set the right work expectations. Right? So we hired movers for Thursday and I said, "Cool, I'm going to take Thursday off. I'll be back to work on Friday." Yo, I took 4.5 days off. All right, so I'd say give yourself 3 to 5 days. If it's done on the weekend, even better. You don't have to miss so much work, but set those expectations for yourself and set those expectations for your work. That way you don't feel so stressed out. All right, let them know as ahead of time as best as possible so that they don't have to stress either. Right? And if you have projects that need to get done, if you have tasks that only you do and you can do them ahead of time, for the love of God, do them ahead of time. Like this podcast is a prime example of it. I told myself I'd record last week. I didn't make time. The move happened, and then every time I said I'm gonna go record, I'm gonna go record, I'm gonna go record, another little thing came up, and by the time it came time to sit and do it, I just didn't have the energy. Right, and if I don't have the energy for it, I'm doing you a disservice by not bringing that energy for you. Okay, so plan your projects ahead of time so that you don't feel stress, so that you don't let your coworkers down, you don't let clients down if you work with clients, you don't let your superiors down, whatever, right? Set those expectations and then fulfill your duties before you leave. Okay, and then when it comes to settling into the new home, this is where you start to really relieve that stress and that anxiety starts to kind of, um, ease off, right? Kind of just settle. First thing, and this is what I always do. Audrey and I have always done this, and this goes for moving to a new house or even a hotel, staying in a hotel, or just like camping. Right, when you go stay away for a little while, is set up your essentials first. Right, so set up your bathroom items, set up your clothing and your accessories if you need in the morning. Set that up ready to go, even if the house itself isn't completely ready. Like maybe you have furniture still come in and you still have to put it together and you can't put your clothes away. At least have it on a shelf somewhere easily accessible, right? So that you're starting to feel like you're at home and you don't feel like you're living out of a box. And then go grocery shopping. Get groceries in that fridge, start cooking, start making little meals here and there so that you start feeling like you're at home again. And then set up your home office, and if you work from home, set up your workstation, right? Do all that. I personally, so our setup right now, our bathroom in our bedroom isn't quite finished yet because we're in before the end of the month. So we can't really use our bedroom or put our stuff in our bedroom. So I'm in the office right now, surrounded by pillows, backpacks, boxes, hampers of clothing, pretty much half the stuff that goes in our bedroom and then everything that's supposed to go in the office. So it's crazy in here, but I have my little station set up where I'll do my podcast, I'll do my morning ritual, I'll sit here and read if I need to. If I need to get work done remotely real quick, my laptop is set up here, so it feels more like I'm home already, even though everything's still a freaking mess. Okay. And then other things to make it feel like you're home. If you have kids, set up their room. Right? Set up their play area, set up their bed, set up whatever they need so they feel at home, because when they're more comfortable, you're going to be more comfortable. All right, I don't have kids, but I'm pretty sure that that would work. Or that's a good concept, right? Make your kids comfortable or else they're going to go make you uncomfortable. I mentioned it just a second ago. Create that space for your morning and evening routine. So, you've heard me before. I wake up early. I'll journal and I'll read 15 pages of a book. That's my morning routine. I made sure that I had that set up. If it wasn't in the office yet, at least it was somewhere that I knew I could go, sit, do my routine, and then go on about my day. Right? But again, I'm home, right? I'm doing my routine at home and I'm starting my day from home, my new home. And then if you have pets, set up their area as well. Right? You want your pets to feel safe at home. You want them to feel comfortable so that you can settle in as well. Maybe even start snuggling with them and cuddling with them, because that makes it feel even more like home. All right. And then as you're settling in, you guys remember that it's okay to feel out of sorts, to feel out of place, right? You're in a new home. There's new walls, there's new creaks in the floors, right? Different sounds in the house. Um, your routine has changed. Your driving routine has changed, right? Your commute may have changed. You may drive farther. You may be closer. You may have to take public transportation now. You may have to carpool, right? Or you may have the same distance. It's just a different route now, right? So you got to remember to take the right route. It's actually funny. Yesterday it happened to me. I went to go pick something up at my parents' house, and I was driving back to my new place, but I almost got on the freeway to go to my old place. That would have sucked. Not have been happy. It was like 8 o'clock at night. um, and then you may not have the same like grocery stores in your area either. So you have to find what works for you as well, right? So you're gonna be a little bit out of place for a while, and that's okay, right? The other thing you'll notice is that the nighttime may be different, right? You may hear more cars, you may hear less cars. Your neighbors may be really loud. You may not even know you have neighbors in the evening. Sometimes really good neighbors are really quiet. Or your mornings may be different, right? I've already noticed in the mornings here, there's more birds chirping. I don't hear the McDonald's drive-through across the street anymore. Thank God. So get used to that for the first few days, right? You're gonna understand that there's different things happening, and you're gonna have to react and adapt. All right, so it's okay to feel out of sorts. You're gonna You're gonna feel like that. And then the last thing, you guys, getting back to normal. In my experience, I've moved a few times over the last 10 years, and from what I've noticed, getting back to normal after moving, in the house, maybe about like 1 to 2 weeks, and you feel more comfortable driving home, leaving home, cooking in that kitchen, showering, using everything in the house, right? Um, and then you're back to work normally, so you're getting that routine again, right? After 3 weeks, I would say you'll probably stop taking the wrong route from work, coming home. Again, I've done it other times I've moved. I did it already last night, so it'll happen, right? Just give yourself some time. If you need to set up your navigation for the first month, do it. It's probably a good idea, just so your brain gets used to it and you're not on autopilot anymore. And then organize the rest of the house, right? Within the first month at least. It's going to take time, right? But the longer you put it off, the less energy you'll have because you're going to start settling in more and you'll have less momentum to get rid of the clutter. So don't let it build up, just do it as soon as you possibly can. So for us, with the room not being ready yet, we're gonna start to organize the office and put books on the bookshelves, move the desks around and things like that, so that when it comes time to moving things into the bedroom, all we have to do is move it over, not organize and then move it. Okay? And lastly, and I cannot stress this enough, stay positive. Okay, don't feel any guilt about essentially putting your life on hold to move to a new home. Okay, Audrey and I were lucky enough to move to a different town in the same city, right? We're 25, maybe 30 minutes away from our old place, right? But it still feels like two different worlds because we lived there for 3 years. Now we're back in our, basically our childhood hood, our childhood little town. So, yes, we feel like home, but it still feels different. And it still feels like, I put my clients on hold. I kind of put you guys on hold by waiting for this episode. Um, so I felt it, right? I felt a little bit of that stress. I felt that anxiety. And if we plan better ahead of time, then we'll feel less of that. I'm not going to say you're not going to feel it, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter how much you plan, no matter how much you organize, no matter how optimistic you may be about finishing in 24 hours, it's still going to prove to be stressful and cause plenty of anxiety. Right? For a moment, we thought the fridge at this house was not going to be able to come out of the kitchen. It wouldn't fit. So that caused immediate stress because we're like, shit, what are we going to do? Does that fridge stay? And now we have to tell the movers to move our fridge back to the storage. Like, that just, all these scenarios come up and you have to be ready to not let that anxiety take over and just roll with the punches because that's just the way life is, right? The best way to deal with these things is so that we don't overwhelm ourselves is just take a step back and realize that you're possibly in the middle of a life-changing circumstance, right? Audrey and I moved 25 minutes away, but this can bring a world of opportunities. I'm much closer to work. I'm in the valley, the San Fernando Valley, where I grew up, and the networking and the connections we have out here can benefit us greatly in our careers. So, new beginnings. There's tons of new possibilities and possibly new passions as well, right? I already hit up one of my buddies, Andy. I said, hey man, now that I'm back in the valley, I have extra set of golf clubs that a client gave me. I want to go to the driving range. What's close around here? Let's go, right? So it's a new hobby that may turn into something fun. I don't know. I've never actually liked golf, but fuck it. Let's go try it, right? So try to have that outlook when you move somewhere too, right? You may be moving to a completely new town, completely new state. You may have a new job, new coworkers, new neighbors, new everything, right? So the stress of that is magnified 10, 20, 30, 100 times. I don't know, man. I haven't been in that situation, but if if you look at it with the possibility of new beginnings and new friends, um, new passions, new hobbies, what have you, life really opens up for you, and the universe kind of gets out of the way for you to allow you to enjoy it and allow you to see those opportunities. All right, because life really won't stop or hold for you or hold the door open for you and wait till you get on. But if you change your perspective and just realize what's in front of you, then life really becomes a lot less stressful. Well, thanks for listening, you guys. Don't forget to check out my Instagram at Coach Adamir, and also follow my gyms page at the District. It's the DSTRKT. There'll be some updates coming out on my new training class, and then they also post content for us, and I'll be posting content weekly as well. And then if you haven't subscribed to the podcast or left a review, please, please, please do so. I'd really appreciate it. It also lets me know what you guys think about it as well. But anyways, that's all, you guys. Have a great week. Remember to love yourself and go be the best version of yourself. Bye.